Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Sorry for not uploading in these past couple of days, and also sorry for this new background. They are completely remaking my room and thus my YouTube studio, if you want to call it that way. And therefore I'm forced to use this backdrop in my living room for these next couple of days, maybe also next week. So that's the reason as to why I've not been uploading. But we've got a game tomorrow, so of course I'm here to give you my match preview, to give my predicted 11, to give you my comment on Elfsborg's Swedish team, and to give you also my comment on Roma, how Roma prepared this game and how Roma will encounter this game in a difficult scenario, in difficult circumstances, because these away games against these teams are always a bit scary. And why are they scary? Because Roma fans now live, every time they travel to Scandinavia, they live with a Scandinavian horror story, which was born in Bodo Glimt. And I don't know why, but every time I turn around and look at the screen, I see a Bodo Glimt logo instead of an Elfsborg logo. This game tomorrow gives me Bodo Glimt nightmares. I don't know what it is. It's a black and yellow team. It's a trip to Scandinavia. We're probably going to play with a blue away kit, blue third kit. And adding on to that, it's also a plastic turf pitch. Everything in tomorrow's game was present and available in the stadium in Norway, where we not only got beat 6-1, but in the quarterfinals was also beat 2-1. That game was a nightmare, we can easily say. And this game tomorrow gives me vibes of a Bodo Glimt 2.0. Hopefully it won't be like this, but I don't know. If you align the constellations, I don't know why, but the world of Bodo Glimt opens up. That's the way I see tomorrow's game. But hopefully we learned from a mistake. Hopefully we're not going to underestimate these opponents just like we underestimated them. But of course, there are a few elements of tomorrow's game which are going to be a bit skeptical, which are going to put question marks on our performance. And let's talk about it. Right, before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like. Everybody hit the like button in this video if you're ready for the game tomorrow. It would be great. Also subscribe to the channel. I believe we're like 2 subscribers away from 12.6k. I know I put 12.6k there because we're basically gonna hit it, but we're like officially 2 subscribers away from 12.6k. It would be great if we can hit it. So subscribe, like the video, and right, let's get into it. Let's speak about them. Let's speak about the game. What we will find tomorrow, because I think that's interesting. Now, the reason why I put Elfsborg and Bodo Glimt on similar tangents is not only because, as I said before, a metaphorical level. It's a black and yellow team. It's a trip to Scandinavia and all of it. But on the more practical side, one of the difficulties that we will encounter tomorrow is the plastic turf. It's the turf pitch, which is present in Elfsborg Stadium, just like it was there in Bodo Glimt Stadium, and just like it was there in the campaign in 2023 in the Europa League, where we faced Helsinki in Finland. It's a characteristic of Norwegian, Swedish, Scandinavian teams, obviously due to climate reasons, due to the fact that they reach very cold temperatures, a lot of snow and a lot of rain. Real grass would literally get killed every single game. So of course all of these teams up north play with the turf. It's something that these teams are used to, and it's something that we aren't used to. And you might be going, oh well, you just have to kick the ball, surely it doesn't make a difference. And I agree with you. At the end of the day, if you ask me, I mean, on a personal note, I love playing with my mates on a turf pitch rather than a real pitch, but you get used to things, and real grass and turf grass are very, very different. The way the ball bounces, the way the players get injured as well, because turf pitches are terrible for injuries. If you are a fragile player, the turf pitch burns everything around you. Not only when you slide tackle, but also if you've got, problems on your knees and all of that. The turf pitch absolutely kills your injuries. So, of course, the velocity of the ball and all of these elements which we aren't used to, and we're facing a team that plays under these circumstances week in and week out. So, just like we going to Sweden will face difficulties, it was the same exact scenario if they were going to come to Rome and play on real pitch. So, of course, it's not an excuse if we lose tomorrow's game. The other thing is climate. Now, again, climate. I read that in Sweden right now, in Elfsborg's location, at night, it's around 2 degrees. Of course, these players are used to playing under cold conditions, and that's not my point. My point is, cold weather conditions means definitely don't start players who aren't fit, and definitely don't start players who've got muscle problems. My example here is Paulo Dybala. If Dybala isn't 100% fit, and if Dybala has got that minor muscle injury that he grasped against Athletic Bilbao, then I don't want to see Dybala on the pitch tomorrow, because cold weather conditions are terrible conditions for muscle injuries, because your muscles aren't warm enough, and the second you shoot, it tears apart. So injuries, climate, turf, all of things to consider. Speaking about Elfsborg, they're 5th in the Allsvenskan, which is the Swedish league. Their manager is Hiljen Mark. One of their most valuable players, according to Transfer Market, is Abdullahi. But my point about Elfsborg, just like my point was there in the match preview against Bodo Glimt, if you go back and watch it, is that these teams go fast. These teams use a formation, which is a very fast formation, because Elfsborg plays with a 3-4-3. A 3-4-3 is a mirror. It's a mirror formation in a sense that all of the movements are regular movements. You've got 3-4-3. It's a very wide formation. Elfsborg, just like Bodo Glimt in that 6-1 game, love to play with wingers, using wingers, exploiting wingers, putting the ball on the wings, and, using their experience to play on the turf against our inexperience to play on the turf, to try and, use the speed of the ball to try and score as many goals as possible. I have no doubts that Elfsborg tomorrow will want to win this game, because I think they got inspired by Bodo Glimt in a sense that they know that they can get something out of these games. And being a Roma fan, I must be honest with you, I am more fearful about these minor games than I am against bigger teams. It's something that I have been saying since ages now. And it's something that I have learned to understand. Our team, AS Roma, is way more concentrated whenever they face bigger teams and tougher teams on paper than these little teams. It's these little bastard games where Roma always tends to underestimate the opponents and therefore get absolutely annihilated. And it's these games that scare me the most out of everything else. Not just because if you lose them you get mocked, but because we've got a pattern and a history of underestimating these games. The history of this team is underestimating little games and then getting abysmal results against them. Now, I'm not saying that against bigger teams like Real Madrid, if we play them, we win. No, but I think it's a question of concentration. I think if you put Roma against Milan in the Europa League last season and Roma against Elfsborg in the Europa League this season, it's guaranteed that Roma would pull a better performance against Milan because they're more concentrated, because they tend to not underestimate the opponents in these games. And I'm speaking about Elfsborg. It can be Sparta Braga whenever we go to Portugal. These minor games, we always step into them going, oh well, look, I don't have to give my 100% best because I know that I'm better than them on paper. So if I'm better than them on paper, I will be better than them on the pitch, and I will get the 3 points. And that's wrong, because that's where you will get absolutely fucked. So, in a sense that you have to be concentrated, whatever team you're playing, and especially in these games more than ever, avoid disaster classes, be concentrated, because these teams have got nothing to lose. For these teams, an opportunity to play in Europe against Roma is golden, and they are going to exploit this opportunity in the best way possible. So that's what I'll say. Speaking about Roma, before giving you my predicted 11, the number one thing that I will say is 3 points today are vital. I said it against Athletic Bilbao. I think the performance was a solid performance. Unfortunately, we were very unlucky in that goal. But again, it shows you deconcentration. I must be honest with you, however. I'm in a sense that I don't scrap the Bilbao performance completely. I take a lot of things out of that performance that I can hope to maybe reflect on tomorrow's performance as well. I know that in this season's Europa League, the first 8 teams go directly to the round of 16s, and from the 8th to the 24th team, they play the playoffs against the Europa League side. There is no chance that Roma will not be advancing onto the next round. This is something that I will say, and that I will take the risk of jinxing. Roma will get in the first 8 teams, because Roma is a European giant in these past couple of seasons, especially in the Europa League. So we are going to get from 1 to 8th. And it is also true that there will be no difference in getting 1st or 8th, because if you get 1st or 8th, nothing changes. You go directly to the round of 16. So the most important thing is qualifying in the first 8. To qualify for the first 8, we need to win tomorrow. Again, we can qualify if we don't win tomorrow, but it's about changing this momentum. As always, I always use this term because it's an important term to use. I think it's a mistake to say, and it's a lie to say, that we've started this season in the best ways possible. We started really bad with De Rossi, a solid draw at Turin against Juventus, and then a solid win against Juric, a solid performance but a draw against Juric, and a less convincing win against Juric this Sunday. We're a hit or miss. We're a roller coaster. We play well, then we play bad. We play bad, then we play well. So, knowing my team and knowing Roma, let's take these chances against these weaker teams, because they are weaker teams. Because, it's not that they are better than us, it's us that underestimate them. If we are concentrated, turn up tomorrow, we could beat them 4-0, but I know that that's not going to happen, because there will be an element in our minds that goes, oh, well, let me underestimate this game a little bit. So if we are concentrated, which I hope we will destroy them tomorrow, because the difference in the quality of team between us and them is massive. Elfsborg would be fighting to not get relegated in the Italian league. This team is like playing Empoli tomorrow. Tomorrow is a game which is as equivalent as Roma-Empoli, but it's a process of motivation. Will we be motivated enough? Will we be concentrated enough? And these are all things that can influence in tomorrow's performance. So what I will say on our side is, don't completely change the team don't change the team like Mourinho changed against Bodo Glimt, because that is the first ingredient to a disaster. And then what I will say is, as always, concentration, don't underestimate them, and play your game. Because if you play like you played against Athletic Bilbao tomorrow, you will beat them and you will get the 3 points. And 3 points tomorrow are very, very much needed. So yeah, there are going to be a few changes, of course, but I think it's wrong to change everything. I think it's wrong to not start with the strongest formation, in a sense that you have to start some of your strongest players. Maybe you don't have to start the strongest lineup, but there will have to be a few top players in tomorrow's performance, because otherwise, if we do what Mourinho did against Bodo Glimt, which is put Villar, put Reynolds, put the third goalkeeper in, put Pellegrini up top to be our only striker, then we're gonna lose. Then we are really gonna lose. So, having said this, my predicted 11 is this: changes, but using our head. Changes, but being smart enough to not change absolutely everything, because it could lead to a disaster. Svilor in goal, Mancini rests, Hummels start, Hermoso, Hummels and Ndika in defence. 4 in the middle, I'm going with Angelino on the wide, keep him, and Celik on the right, Angelino on the left. We could see El Shaarawy start instead of Angelino to give him a rest, and then Pellegrini started instead of El Shaarawy. But I'm going to go with this because I don't think Pellegrini is 100% fit. He is, at time of speaking in the press conference next to Juric. And it might be a hint that he might be starting tomorrow. I don't think he is ready to start tomorrow. He wasn't fit to start the Venezia game. He can't be fit to start this game. My question mark is also on Cilic. Does he start tomorrow? I think he will. But maybe we could also start with Saud Abdelmahid tomorrow. We could give him a chance. We could give him 45 minutes. If he has an absolute stinker, put Cilic in the second half, because he did have an absolute stinker in the 10 minutes he played against Athletic Bilbao. I don't know why Siri just popped up. I definitely did not mention her name. Siri, can you shut up? Go away. Okay.
Certo. In che lingua vuoi che traduca?
I don't want you, you idiot. I don't want you. No, nobody wants you. Nobody has nominated you. Go away. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I would potentially consider starting Saud because he does need games. If you want him to grow, then you can't just place him on the bench. He will have to start a few games, or even get subbed in a few games. So I do expect Saud to either start or get subbed in tomorrow. In the middle, I think it would be going against the law not starting Pisilli, and therefore not starting Kone. They are an intense team. They are going to play counter-attacking football in a very, very, very high way tomorrow. They are going to attack. They're going to exploit their wingers. So we definitely need a midfield that can track back quickly and transition up front quickly. And I think Pisilli Kone is the best midfield duo that can do this. Again, I always try, in some predicted 11s, I do put Cristante out, and then he does always get into the starting 11. Cristante will most probably start. My predicted 11 is, however, that considering the transition and the tracking back against a fast and high intensity team, this is the best duo to do it. And Kone and Pisilli should start tomorrow, in my opinion. And then up front, I am putting Dybala to rest, Sule to rest, Baldassi to start because he deserves it, Dovbyk to start because he deserves it, and of course, he needs to, and El Shaarawy next to Baldassi. Sule is ready. Sule did get a call up. But it's crazy to say this. I'm not sure if you noticed, when we were celebrating the Pisilli goal, Sule got an ankle, he twisted his ankle. He will be ready for it. It's a minor injury. He trained with the team in these past few days. Was he ready, however? Is he ready to start? I see Sule right now more of a getting in player, changing the game with a few minutes spare. Maybe give him in 20 minutes, because Baldassi is definitely higher up in hierarchies right now. Baldassi deserves it more than Sule right now. And I think Sule will get subbed in tomorrow, also to avoid Dybala getting subbed in. This is a game where I don't want Dybala in, because this is a classic game where Dybala will get injured. It is, because it's going to be freezing. He already has weak muscles. He is already coming from a minor muscle injury. Muscle injuries, muscle problems, add them to climate and freezing conditions. He's going to get injured if he starts this game. So let's not risk him. Let's keep it like this. If we really need him, we put him in. But do we really need him if we step up concentrated tomorrow against a team which is as equivalent as Empoli in the Italian league tomorrow? So yeah, this is my predicted 11. Changes that I could see tomorrow. Mancini is going to rest and Dybala is going to rest. And I think that's confirmed. I think Pellegrini could start, but he could also get subbed in. There are a few players which could start, but will eventually get subbed in rather than start. So yeah, that's the way I see it. Right, let me read a few comments and then I'll end it. And then I'll catch you tomorrow with a match reaction. Hello Enricas, it's been good. How about you? 2 days of not uploading seemed like 2 weeks. What will our fans' reaction be if Pellegrini scored? Well, some of them will celebrate, some of them won't. Pellegrini is dividing the fan base right now, so As much as it's crazy to think that even if he scores, people won't celebrate. Pellegrini is it's kind of the synonym of division at Roma right now. So it's crazy to say, but if Pellegrini scores, there are gonna be haters and there are gonna be lovers. Subscribe to your channel, my friend. I love your Roma content, even though I'm a Juventus fan. We should do a collab sometime on my channel or your channel. Sure. Thank you very much. I just found out that I'm going to Rome with my school in February. Best news of my life. Enjoy it. I told you we're not ready to play Europe and Italy at the same time. Maybe next year. Just concentrate on Serie A. Who cares about Elfsborg? We're not getting top 4 if we play Europa League or not. If we play Europa League or not. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. We're not getting top 4 even if we scrap Europa League. We're just not. We're just not. How can that game against Venezia give anybody hope for top 4? Like, how? How? Like, absolutely how? How does that game, and how does this start to the season, despite the fact that we won games and didn't lose many, just lost one, but it's about performance. How can that performance against Venezia give us confidence to get? We won't get top 4. We won't. We will not get top 4 this season. We might get top 5. Top 5 we might, but top 4 we're not getting. So there is no need to scrap Europa League because the chances of going well in the Europa League are much higher than the chances of going well in the league. Much higher. Much, much higher. You know what that Venezia performance left in me? I was talking about this yesterday with my friends. That Venezia performance, the most important thing for fans is the result. And we celebrated like mad when Pizzilli scored that goal. And we celebrated the 3 points. But what that Venezia performance left in me is, I am very skeptical about this long-term project. I am very, very, very skeptical after that performance of the long-term effects of this team, of the long-term effects of the construction of this team. I'm not convinced by this project that we've started. I'm not convinced by the construction of the team. I'm not. I can't be. I cannot be. Because a team which wants to aim for top 4 can't put a shit show like that one against the weakest team in the league. And we won. That's the most important thing. Venezia is a closed chapter. We celebrated till death. But short-term effect was the 3 points. Long-term effect, I don't see the positives. Why is Zalewski out of the squad? I think they're taking time to reintegrate him. They're not going to do it immediately. Do you think Roma has become a no immediate result, get sacked type of club? Well, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. Because the reason De Rossi was sacked isn't because of the results. It's because he had disputes with everybody at the club. So, yeah, I don't think that De Rossi was sacked because of results. In fact, he wasn't sacked because of the results. Everybody say this. Of course, the Fredkins in their official statement need to say that he was sacked because of the results, because they can't publicly say that he fought with everybody and disagreed with everybody and fell out with everybody. But the truth is different. The truth is that he fell out with Lina and he fell out with the Fredkins and they sacked him. So I get your point, but hopefully it's not, because if it is, then we're not going anywhere. Regarding the plastic pitch, surely Roma have an indoor plastic pitch at their training ground. Well, yeah, but they don't train on it, because in Italy you don't play on turf pitches, so why would you train on them? They might, yeah, but they don't train on them. Will there be a watch-along tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. No more watch-alongs. Match reaction tomorrow. Sule needs time to adjust. Yes, that was a shambles, that performance. Love Pizzilli. Very keen to see Homos with a start. Yes, indeed. Right, I'm going to catch you tomorrow with the match reaction. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe in this match preview. 100 likes on this match preview would be great. If you're watching live or not, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Simo out.